But as far as LeBron and Michael, if Michael played in this era, he'd average 50. He averaged 50 points. Michael is the greatest player ever. LeBron's a great talent, no doubt. He's probably one of the top 3 players ever played. With Kobe, Magic, Kareem.
Rodman's testimony hits harder than any stat sheet because it comes from a man who bled, battled, and triumphed in the crucible of Jordan's era. His words carry the weight of experience, painting a picture that should settle this debate once and for all. Michael Jordan didn't have to beg for loyalty, he commanded it. He wasn't chasing dollars, he was chasing championships, even while being criminally underpaid. He thrived in the most brutal era of basketball, where every possession was a war, and yet Rodman insists he would average 50 if he played today. And when one of the most respected enforcers in NBA history names his top 3 players ever, LeBron James doesn't make the cut. That isn't disrespect, it's reality. Jordan's greatness isn't confined to the record books. It lives in the memories of those who fought beside him and against him. Rodman's words simply reinforce what most fans already know in their hearts. Jordan was different. Jordan was feared. Jordan was respected. Jordan is the standard against which every other superstar falls short. LeBron James may be a legend, but Michael Jordan remains untouchable. The gap between them isn't measured in points or accolades. It's measured in legacy, dominance, and the eternal respect of peers who witnessed it firsthand. And as long as voices like Rodman's echo through history, the truth remains undeniable: Jordan is the GOAT. Rodman's insight also cuts straight to Jordan's DNA as a leader. He once said Jordan never asked him for anything except respect and fair pay. That one statement separates Jordan from nearly every superstar that came after him. Think about today's NBA. Stars demand that teammates adjust their roles, take fewer shots, or sacrifice their games to fit into systems designed to highlight one man. LeBron James, in particular, built much of his career by reshaping rosters to suit his needs, pushing front offices for certain veterans, teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, or restructuring franchises entirely around his preferences. Jordan never played that game. He didn't beg teammates to defer, he didn't obsess over control, and he didn't seek validation by stacking the deck. His demands were brutally simple: give him respect, and he would give you greatness. Pay him fairly, and he would repay that investment with rings. That mentality wasn't about politics or power plays. It was about accountability, dominance, and delivering when it mattered most.
I just think that if you look at Michael, the body work he's done over the years. You look at LeBron, the body work he's done over the years, 3 years, 17, now going to 18. When
Dennis Rodman speaks on the Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate, he wastes no time with hesitation. His message is blunt, direct, and impossible to ignore. Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever. Coming from Rodman, that statement carries a weight most analysts or fans simply cannot replicate. This is not bias. This is not nostalgia. This is lived experience. Rodman was in the trenches with Jordan. He practiced alongside him. He witnessed the intensity. He competed next to him in the biggest battles. And he saw, up close, how Jordan dominated opponents who knew exactly what was coming yet had no answer for it. When Rodman says Jordan is the greatest, he is not parroting a cliché. He is confirming a truth he personally lived. That truth is tied to how Jordan completely reshaped basketball, not just on the court, but around the world. He elevated the sport into a global phenomenon. He became the blueprint for every superstar who followed. Even LeBron James has admitted that his inspiration and drive came from watching Jordan. And yet, despite acknowledging the influence, fans still push the argument that LeBron has somehow surpassed the very man he modeled himself after. Rodman's words serve as the ultimate reality check. Greatness is not just numbers on a stat sheet. It's about who redefined the game, who thrived under pressure, who demanded respect by showing up in the biggest moments, and never faltering. Jordan was ruthless, surgical, unrelenting. He didn't just win, he crushed his opponents and left no doubt. That's why, when Rodman says Jordan is the greatest, it echoes louder than most opinions. It's the voice of someone who lived it. Jordan is the standard. He is the bar. And no one, not even LeBron, has cleared it.
He is the greatest.
Dennis Rodman then shifts the conversation to something that truly defines Michael Jordan's legacy: his toughness and durability. According to Rodman, this was the ultimate separator. Jordan was injured only once in his entire career, and even then, he never begged for rest, never demanded special treatment, and never manipulated the system to conserve energy. He showed up, night after night, because that was who he was. This detail matters because it directly contrasts the culture of today's NBA. Load management has become the norm. Stars frequently sit out, either to preserve their bodies or to prepare for the post-season grind. But Jordan was cut from an entirely different cloth. The idea of asking out of games for minor soreness, or sitting during back-to-backs, would have been unthinkable to him. Jordan played through pain, exhaustion, and adversity because he knew the responsibility he carried. Fans paid to see him. His team relied on him. History would not wait for him to rest. That mentality set the tone not only for his teammates, but for the entire league. His opponents knew he would be there every single night, giving maximum effort, refusing to compromise. That consistency made him terrifying. Rodman uses this to expose the gap between Jordan and LeBron James. In LeBron's era, extended absences, recovery breaks, and calculated rest days are accepted, even expected. While it is unfair to blame LeBron for adapting to modern sports science, it does emphasize Rodman's point: Jordan was simply built differently. He didn't just play basketball. He fought for every single minute on the floor. He valued competition above convenience, never taking shortcuts, never seeking easy outs. That relentless durability fueled his 6 championships in such a concentrated, unforgiving span. And for Rodman, that mindset alone forever separates Jordan from LeBron.
I just been in one time. He never asked to sit out.
Michael Jordan's demand for respect was never about ego or admiration. It was about trust built by leading through example. Every practice, every possession, every playoff series, Jordan poured in his blood, sweat, and soul. When he pushed his teammates hard, it wasn't to bully them into obedience. It was to elevate them to a standard he demanded of himself first. That respect wasn't manufactured. It wasn't a media strategy. It was forged in fire, earned through competition, and proven night after night. Rodman captures this perfectly. Jordan didn't need PR campaigns or narrative manipulation to validate his greatness. He wasn't politicking behind the scenes like a corporate executive. He wasn't leaning on media hype about longevity or statistical milestones. Respect, in Jordan's world, was never asked for. It was commanded, through sacrifice, dominance, and relentlessness. At his core, Jordan required only 2 things: respect for his leadership and fair compensation for his unmatched production. When those conditions were met, the result spoke for itself: the most dominant dynasty the NBA has ever seen.
He never asked me anything, but all he asked for respect, money.
This statement reveals something about Michael Jordan's era that often gets lost when people rush to compare him with modern stars like LeBron James. Jordan spent most of his prime before the NBA exploded into the billion-dollar empire we know today, before the mega TV contracts, before global streaming deals, before supermax salaries became the norm. Rodman points out that for nearly a decade, Jordan earned less than some modern role players collect now. Imagine that, about $3 million across 9 years, while simultaneously carrying the entire league on his back. It's almost absurd when you realize Jordan wasn't just winning championships. He was elevating the NBA from a regional pastime into a worldwide powerhouse. And yet, during that rise, Jordan wasn't cashing out massive contracts or exploiting player empowerment clauses. He wasn't maneuvering for leverage. He was simply playing, winning, and reshaping basketball into a global brand. That sacrifice created the foundation today's stars, including LeBron, now stand on. Every endorsement deal, every billion-dollar label, every generational contract exists because Jordan built the platform first. He made Nike an empire. He turned the NBA into a worldwide television spectacle. He gave players the cultural leverage they now enjoy. But Jordan himself never used his position to complain about being underpaid, nor did he let money distract from his mission. His drive was never about luxury, it was about legacy. He knew his value stretched far beyond the numbers on his paycheck, and instead of lobbying for more, he poured every ounce of himself into competition. Rodman's reminder shatters one of the most common myths in the Jordan versus LeBron debate. Fans love to point at LeBron's career earnings, his billionaire status, or his longevity statistics as proof of superiority. But that completely ignores context. Jordan didn't play in an era designed to make athletes billionaires. He didn't have the advantage of modern contracts, sports science, or collective bargaining leverage. What he had was an unrelenting will to dominate. Every underpaid season became fuel for his fire. And the fact that Jordan is still widely regarded as the greatest player in history despite those financial limitations proves the point. Greatness is not defined by money or longevity. It's defined by performance. For Jordan, the currency was championships, fear, and legacy.
People don't realize when Michael Jordan's playing, like the first 8-9 years, he's barely making $3 million. Compared to these guys making $40 million.
This quote is classic Dennis Rodman, blunt, unfiltered, and designed to cut straight to the core of the LeBron versus Jordan debate. Rodman doesn't hedge, he doesn't qualify. He flat out declares that if Michael Jordan played in today's NBA, he would average 50 points per game. 50. And that number, as wild as it sounds, isn't some careless exaggeration. It's rooted in reality. To understand why, you first need to remember the era Jordan actually played in. The game was brutal. Defenders could hand check. Big men could throw you to the floor without fear of a whistle. Every drive into the paint was a battle zone. And in that violent environment, Jordan still dominated, averaging 30 points a night over his career, leading the league in scoring 10 times, and shredding defenses that were constructed entirely to slow him down. Now imagine that same assassin dropped into today's NBA. Hand checking? Gone. The defensive 3-second rule? Forces big men out of the lane. The pace? Faster. Spacing? Wider. The entire floor is stretched, giving slashers free runways to the rim. On top of that, the league now actively protects scorers. Physical punishment, the kind Jordan endured every night, is essentially outlawed. A player with his mid-range mastery, explosive finishing, and footwork sharper than anyone in history would be flat-out unguardable. Rodman knows this better than most. He went to war with Jordan every single day in practice. He saw firsthand how defenders had to bend or break rules just to slow him down. Take those tools away, and what's left? Jordan lighting teams up for 40 before halftime. And beyond the skills, you can't ignore the mindset. Jordan wasn't satisfied with just winning. He wanted to rip your heart out. He wanted to humiliate you. LeBron, for all his greatness, is a facilitator at heart, more magic than Michael, often choosing the pass instead of the dagger. Jordan was the opposite. He lived for the kill. That's why Rodman isn't exaggerating. 50 points per game in today's softer, offense-friendly NBA isn't a fantasy, it's a terrifying reality. Put Jordan's fire into this modern landscape, and the result is absolute annihilation.
A lot of things went on, but as far as LeBron and Michael, if Michael played in this era, he'd average 50. He averaged 50 points.
Rodman's words here are both respectful and sharp, cutting straight into the heart of the GOAT debate. He acknowledges LeBron James' greatness, but makes it clear that his personal top 3 all-time list does not include him. Instead, he names Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. For LeBron fans, that omission stings. Because Rodman isn't some random analyst tossing out takes, he's a man who lived through Jordan's era, defended elite scorers, and played alongside legends. When someone with that resume overlooks LeBron in favor of Kobe, Magic, and Kareem, it reveals how those who lived at basketball's peak truly view legacy. Kobe earns his spot because he mirrored Jordan's mentality. He carried that killer instinct, the obsession with perfection, and the relentless drive to break opponents. Magic belongs because he transformed the point guard position forever, running Showtime with dominance and charisma that carried an entire era. Kareem's inclusion is obvious. His scoring record stood for nearly 4 decades, his skyhook was unstoppable, and his dominance matched his unmatched longevity. These players didn't just collect stats, they reshaped the game itself. Rodman's statement suggests that while LeBron is undeniably an all-time great, he hasn't reached that same level of transcendence. His case rests heavily on accumulation, points, rebounds, assists, and sheer longevity. But greatness isn't defined only by numbers. It's measured in impact, fear, and legacy. Kobe made opponents tremble with his will to kill games. Magic turned the NBA into must-watch television. Kareem left defenses helpless for 2 decades. And Jordan, of course, stands above them all as basketball's ultimate icon. LeBron's accolades are endless. But Rodman reminds us that true greatness is about redefining the sport itself. In his eyes, LeBron hasn't done that.